A look at how undocumented students at UTPA are dealing with the latest developments of the DACA Bill.
The impact of another bill passed that affects veterans on campus.
The big news on the Vipers' new arena.
A historic season from the Bronx women's basketball team and its star player, plus weather and much more. Bronc TV News starts now.
Hello and thank you for joining us for this week's edition of Bronc TV News. Today is February 27th, Friday, 2015, and I'm Daniel Galvan.
And I'm Melinda Garza. Back in November, President Barack Obama passed an executive action that granted a temporary legal status to millions of undocumented immigrants. It additionally prolonged deferred action for the Childhood Arrivals Program.
Yeah, and the order sent shockwaves all the way down to the Rio Grande Valley. Federal Judge Andrew Hanen actually issued an injunction on the action. But Bronc TV's Orlando Vargas went on campus to talk to students about how the recent developments have affected them.
I believe that we will win.
With strong will and determination,
we saw the United States as a welcoming door.
The fight for the American dream,
it's been the opportunity that we haven't had in our country,
lives on every single day.
What do we want? Justice. When do we want?
Julieta Paredes is one of 700 undocumented students on campus who benefit from deferred action for childhood arrivals.
So this gave me the opportunity and I was like, okay, I'm gonna grab it.
The only thing we can lose in this battle is our chains and be free.
Paredes, along with others in the undocumented community, are calling Judge Andrew Hanen's decision to stop President Obama's executive order a fear tactic.
They're going to lose faith, or they might not apply, and it's exactly what they want. They know that they're not going to stop this executive action because the president was on his whole authority to pass it.
Currently, Texas is one of 26 states suing the U.S. government. The lawsuit landed in federal court in Brownsville. It hits close to home for parents like Maria Romero. Her son already benefits from DACA, and she could qualify for deferred action for parents of Americans and lawful permanent residents under the executive order.
Voy a seguir luchando más por mí, por mi familia y por las personas que vienen detrás de mí.
The injunction blocks parents of undocumented immigrants from receiving DAPA. Approximately 4 million people could qualify for a temporary work permit and be able to legally reside in the U.S. without legal persecution.
Que no tengamos miedo ya, que no tenemos que salir de las sombras, que no tengan miedo.
We are the dreamers! We are the dreamers! The mighty, mighty dreamers!
But Paredes and Romero have hope that President Obama and the White House will overrule the lawsuit, giving many a glimmer of opportunity in the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And that was Orlando Vargas reporting. President Obama announced his executive order last November to crack down on illegal immigration at the border. His priority was to deport felons and not families. Additionally, it required certain undocumented immigrants to pass a criminal background check and pay taxes in order to temporarily stay in the U.S. without fear of deportation.
In December last year, Texas Governor Greg Abbott filed a lawsuit on behalf of the state of Texas. And earlier this month, a federal judge, Andrew Hanen, blocked the executive order. And next week, the Justice Department is set to appeal that judge's ruling on the president's executive order on immigration.
A bill was passed earlier this month to aid veterans with suicide prevention. Danielle Burnell spoke to UTPA chapter president of the Student Veterans of America about how this legislation affects vets on campus.
According to an estimate from the Department of Veteran Affairs, at least 22 veterans take their lives every day. But this number can be lowered with a new law addressing the suicide rate among veterans. Recently, President Obama signed a new legislation into law when Marine Corps vet took his life after serving 2 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Veterans looking for support. I think the most important thing for them is to know what's out there and how to get to it quickly. Our men and women that we ask to go and fight for our country, they see a lot of bad things. You know, it's not just depression. There's some things that you see, maybe things that you've done in service to your country.
Joseph Watson is one of many soldiers who come back seeking an education, but feel that disconnection after serving their country.
You know, it was a mixed blessing. You're happy to be home. or so, right? Happy to see your family again. For me personally, coming home, there was a lot of, I guess, pent-up anger, emotional issues for myself. You know, coming out of a deployment, things that I didn't know how to deal with, and I wish there had been more resources and more education even for myself to know that, you know, maybe I should have gone and talked to somebody and sought help, but I myself did not.
The new law is designed to make it easier for veterans and student veterans to access mental health services.
You know, any type of bill that can help, you know, build our resources for student veterans, especially in regards to mental health services, you know, I think is essential. You know, we have, you know, student veterans coming back, some who have seen combat, especially who may have gone through trauma, who are going through a difficult adjustment period, entering civilian life again, that are struggling, and they need the support there.
Watson says the Clay Hunt Suicide Prevention for American Veterans Act can reach out and help those veterans who, like himself, had trouble transitioning back into civilian life.
It's heading in the right direction. You know, things like this act and creating better access, and obviously the everything that's gone on with the Veteran Administration as far as the health care issues that have been raised and put in the forefront of the, you know, society's consciousness. I think all that's coming together finally to help put veterans in a much better standing as far as seeking mental health support.
So this new law will create a centralized website for vets to access mental health information. This law will also defer student loan payments for psychiatry students to entice them into careers with the VA. Reporting live from the studio with Bronc Television, I am Danielle Burnell.
Thank you, Danielle. If you're in the area, Alegria is in town. Check it out.
There will be doing dances that represent different states in Mexico. So that's very important to be able to educate the audience through the medium of dance. It's important for them to come and see the show because there's every year there's different things that are happening. Some things are very traditional, and some things are more, there's more of an evolution.
Alegria is tomorrow at the Harlingen Municipal Auditorium at 7:30. Ticket prices for the dancing concert range from $8 to $15.
A crowd of UTPA students gathered at the Student Union on Tuesday to celebrate the university's last homecoming parade. Among other things, this year's court was announced. The new king is Ernesto Espinosa, and UTPA's last homecoming queen is Nayeli Herrera.
The momentum of John Legend's visit to campus continues early next month. Emmy Award-winning actress America Ferrera will be on campus for the next installment of the Distinguished Lecture Series on March 5th.
As the popularity of e-cigarettes has risen in recent years, so have questions about whether or not minors should be able to use them. Well, our own Melinda Garza got those answers.
The electronic cigarette business has skyrocketed over the last few years, but the newest alternative to traditional cigarettes might be landing in the wrong hands.
I was a 14-year-old kid smoking cigarettes. It was easy for me to get my hands on it, and the same thing's going to happen with e-cigs. They can regulate as much as you can. Kids are still going to get their hands on it.
While a large number of adults are quitting, a younger age group is joining the electronic craze. Earlier this month, Senator Juan Chuy Hinojosa proposed a bill which would prohibit the sale of electronic cigarettes to anyone under the age of 18. Currently, it is illegal in the state of Texas for minors to smoke traditional cigarettes, but there is no law that prohibits minors from purchasing an electronic cigarette.
We'll get minors, especially being so close to other places, establishments where you have underage, and and being in a plaza, you always get people trying to come in. But no, we never allow here since we have so many other tobacco products.
Retailers claim e-cigarettes are a healthier alternative for smokers because they don't contain some of the chemicals that regular cigarettes do.
What most people need to know is that we're promoting a healthier alternative, and that's the most important thing right now.
If ratified, this bill would unite Texas with 41 other states that already prohibit the sale of electronic cigarettes to minors. For Bronc TV News, I am Melinda Garza.
Well, the air was certainly clear earlier this week with the cold front, but thankfully, it's starting to heat up as the week concludes.
Definitely, Dan. But the good thing is we can prepare for the week ahead thanks to the weather forecast from Sergio Puente.
Thank you, guys. Good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in to Bronc TV Weather. I'm Sergio Puente. Let's take a look at current conditions right now. We're looking at 56 degrees across the entire Rio Grande Valley with winds out of the north-northeast at about 12 miles per hour with humidity levels around 65%. Mostly cloudy conditions. Overnight tonight, we can expect temperatures around the 40s, 50s across the entire Rio Grande Valley. The upper Rio Grande Valley, we are forecasting 49, 47 for McAllen, but that might be a little bit too low. We're expecting temperatures to remain around 50 degrees with about a 30% chance of showers and rain. For tomorrow afternoon, we can expect temperatures back up into the upper 60s to lower 70s across the entire region. We're looking at 69 in Edinburgh, 67 in McAllen, so it's going to be pretty much a relatively good day, mostly cloudy conditions across the entire region. For drought monitor, we're looking at abnormally dry conditions in Starr County, but other than that, we're looking pretty well across the entire southern portion of South Texas here, and we're looking at exceptional droughts in the Dallas area, the North Texas area. That is going to continue later on this through the summer, might be even. So we're looking at record high right now, 33. That was set 1974. Our record high was set in 2009. That's 101. We are nowhere near that for this time of year. Our sunrise was at 6:59 a.m. and our sunset was will be at 6:33 p.m. tonight. Our 7-day forecast, we're looking at temperatures pretty much around 66 degrees for Saturday, mostly cloudy conditions with a stray shower, about a 30% chance of rain. We're expecting conditions to kind of remain progressing into mostly sunny to partly sunny conditions for Sunday through Wednesday with temperatures back up into 89. Look at that, 89 degrees for Tuesday. By Thursday, we do see another weak cold front bringing in temperatures 74 degrees, 66 for Friday with mostly cloudy conditions. That was a look at your Bronc TV 7-day forecast. Back to you in the studio.
The UTPA women's basketball team are off to a historic start, with a major part of the credit going to the team's cornerstone players. Jennifer Galvan gives us an inside look at the team and its sophomore stars.
The Lady Broncs are in the midst of their winningest season with the help of several players and their sophomore sensation, Shawte Goff, who is of the top 10 scorers in UTPA women's history. Goff is focused, though not on individual achievement, but the task at hand.
I'm happy that we got the winning season, but I'm looking forward to going 16-12 and then hopefully going 17-12, going to the WAC tournament, and hopefully we can get some wins out there and go to March Madness.
Goff attributes the strong bond with her coaching staff to the team's success.
I don't necessarily look at, who's better than who. We all come out and do our job. We know in order to win, we got to have at least 4 or 5 people in the double digits and not just 1 or 2 people.
Last year, Goff was voted the WAC Player of the Year, but is still looking for a championship.
I'm just here to win. I want to ring. I want to come out on top. And after I graduate, hopefully my winning success can take me on to other levels.
For Bronc TV News, I am Jennifer Galvan.
It's been a really great season for the Broncs, and Dan, you were just telling me how great basketball in Texas is right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only 19 years old, so I don't have this long track record of watching college basketball, right? But this season in Texas, it really has been better. I mean, we don't have an elite team. We don't have a Kentucky or a Kansas or a Duke, but we have a lot of really good teams. You start in the Big 12, where you have a ranked team in Baylor with just an amazing center, just an absolute animal, Enrico Gathers. I mean, they can win that conference even with a stacked Kansas team. And the University of Texas, they aren't ranked, but they have the tools to really piece together a nice run in March Madness. I mean, Miles Turner is their impact freshman. This is a guy who's going to have a nice March, and he's also going to have a nice, I think it's June and July when they draft in the NBA. He'll be there. He'll be one of the top 5 picks. And lastly, TCU. We know them for their football, for their redhead quarterback, Andy Dalton. Well, they're kind of good at basketball this year, too. They get some sneaky wins. And even Texas A&M in the SEC, we also know them for Johnny Manziel. But as it's coming to basketball, their head coach, Billy Kennedy, is doing a heck of a job recruiting. And also, of course, UTPA. you know, we aren't going to contend for the tournament this year, but we have a lot of nice building blocks. Janara Josar from Ole Miss, he's just a sophomore. It's such a pleasure to watch him play. And Shaq Hines is a nice power forward. And Dan Kamasa is a player that's really progressing. I think UTPA is a team to watch as we progress with Coach Dan Hipsher.
Okay, so with NBA, the Spurs won the NBA title last year, right?
Yeah, they did. I know you're a big fan of the San Antonio Spurs. And, I mean, you have a good reason to be optimistic, even though they've lost 4 straight games. I'm just saying.
It's okay. They still have, there's room.
Yeah, well, they've perfected the formula of peaking in the postseason. And I think they'll do it again. It comes down to getting Tony Parker healthy and really functioning. With him, Kawhi Leonard, and Tim Duncan, I mean, I think he's 67 years old and he's still playing like an all-star. I think they'll peak in the postseason. You also have the Dallas Mavericks with Rajon Rondo in that lineup. They traded for Rajon Rondo because they needed a star point guard. That's hurt their offense. If all the pieces work together, I like the Mavs. And, of course, the Houston Rockets. They're always in the playoff picture. Get Dwight Howard healthy, they'll be right there. And speaking of the Rockets, well, it was kind of cool, Melinda, because just yesterday, 2 Hall of Famers, Clyde Drexler and Calvin Murphy, were right off the expressway here at what will be the Bert Ogden Arena. It's going to be the new arena where the Rio Grande Valley Vipers will play here in Edinburgh. And our own Javi Guerrero was there at the groundbreaking to watch the historic event.
That empty field in Edinburgh that you've passed by a few hundred times will be transformed into the new home of the RGV Vipers. Ground was broken on Thursday, and a new destination for entertainment in the valley begins.
Development of this arena is going to bring, obviously, entertainment for our community, the Vipers, home to the Vipers, and it's also, more importantly, going to create some job opportunities.
The newly named Bert Ogden Arena will be the largest entertainment venue in South Texas and is set to open in October 2016.
To have entertainment venues that right now aren't able to hold, you know, up to 8,500 people as this arena will hold.
We now know 2 things. The name of the new arena, and once construction begins, jobs will come with it.
Well, we know it's going to create 150 jobs, this site itself, just the arena.
In this case, sustained jobs means positions to keep in the area, events, and a full-service restaurant to be built inside. All these things are now one step closer to reality. Reporting for Bronc TV News, I am Javi Guerrero.
UTRGV could be receiving a donation from the city of Brownsville that could expand the UTB area. Dan Galvan traveled to Brownsville and got the story.
The vision for UTRGV continues to grow as the merger between UTPA and UTB approaches, and that vision has become more clear with the university potentially receiving a donation from the city of Brownsville. Back in November, the Brownsville City Commissioners passed a proposition to donate Lincoln Park to UTRGV. The park, which was relocated almost 16 years ago, is now situated across the street from the University of Texas, Brownsville. The park features a playground, baseball fields, and basketball courts. Additionally, some of the 48-acre lot is used by UTB students to park during class hours. In conjunction with the donation of the park, the University of Texas system has presented a potential offer to aid the city for relocation efforts for a new Lincoln Park. If the donation goes through, Lincoln Park would have its 3rd home in under 2 decades.
Opinions on the potential donation have been anything but unanimous in the city of Brownsville. Just days after the city commissioners voted to pass the donation, there were plenty of citizens there protesting the donation of Lincoln Park, and shortly thereafter, Cameron County District Attorney Luis Saenz, acting under the role of a citizen, was a co-plaintiff with Matthew Kendall, suing because they cited that it was an illegal sale. What they brought to the table was that Lincoln Park was not put up to vote to the citizens, and they believe that is what should take place. It was also a battle of semantics because the city of Brownsville claimed that it was a donation, while Mr. Saenz and Kendall were saying that it was a sale because the city of Brownsville will receive a particular sum of money to relocate. And currently, everything's up in the air as the suit is still in litigation.
Okay, and before we close this edition of Bronc TV News, we'll take a look at this week's Man on the Street. So Dan, I know you produced this one. What should we expect here?
I did produce this one, and what I will tell you guys is that up until now, we've shown you really solid, serious journalism. Up next, not so much. I did produce this one, and what we had happen here was my good buddy Kyle Castillo went on the street, and he read lines from the great novel 50 Shades of Grey. To different students. And what we did here was we had students guess whether or not the line is from the book or we completely made it up. So here's our man on the street, and I would like to apologize to my mother for producing this.
The Grapes of Wrath, The Great Gatsby, To Kill a Mockingbird, all classic American novels. And now we have 50 Shades of Grey. To see how familiar UTPA students are with this revolutionary piece of work, I went out on the street, read lines, and asked students if the quote was actually from the book, or a fake one that I just made up. His voice is warm and husky like dark melted chocolate fudge caramel. Real or fake?
Real.
I was just so impressed by how humble Kanye West was. Real or fake?
That's gotta be fake.
The orange juice tastes divine. It's thirst quenching and refreshing. What is that, real or not?
Real.
Some Boy Scout he must have been to learn these knots. Real or fake?
Fake.
Actually, that was real. Really? That was real. My small inner goddess sways in the gentle victorious samba. Real or fake?
Real.
Just be honest. Please, Mr. Gray, please tell me, where is Waldo? Real or fake?
That's fake.
You know what country music needs more of, Mr. Gray? Songs about trucks, beer, and girls. Real or fake?
I guess I'm gonna go fake again.
He just crumbled when the pressure was on, and at that point, I called him Tony Romo. Real or fake?
Fake.
Regardless of how familiar students are with 50 Shades of Grey, the book will go down as an iconic novel. Reporting for Bronc TV, this is Kyle Castillo.
That does it for this edition of Bronc TV News. We want to thank you for joining us. If you have a story idea, go ahead and let us know.
Yeah, and you can do that by finding us at Facebook at facebook.com/BroncTVRadio, or if you're on Twitter, go ahead and tweet at us, twitter.com/BroncTVRadio, and we're pretty cool with the hashtags. Just put #story_idea if you have a story idea.
And don't forget to check out the Bronc TV page at utpa.edu/BRTV. For Bronc TV, I'm Melinda Garza.
And I'm Daniel Gavon. Until next time.